Okay, lesson 1 of the basic Raja Yoga course 2023, the fall semester. We start with the extra subject. It's titled Shiva and Shakti, which is important because, as you already have understood from the workshop, the introduction workshop, yoga is very much about energy. Energy is responsible for everything, and energy determines everything. It determines our health, it determines our condition, but very importantly, it determines how we function. How we function will be more detailed way explained when we discuss the chakras. But for now, what is important to know is energy exists out of two polarities. There are many ways to address these two polarities, plus and minus. It's like the electricity plug. You need two poles. Only plus and minus together can make a machine work. So in the universe, everything works like that. Plus and minus, Shiva and Shakti, yin and yang, feminine, masculine. There are many ways that this is named. But the thing is, they are opposing. And a human being functions differently when one energy is dominating. And then again differently when the other energy is dominating. But very important is the balance between the two. Because when there is a balance between the two, we function on a totally different level. Certain, we call them higher characteristics or royal characteristics. Those characteristics only manifest when there is harmony between the two energies. So that is why energy is important, and unfortunately it is very much neglected or misunderstood in most yoga courses, simply because the teachers have not been properly initiated into the secrets behind the ancient art of yoga, the ancient science of yoga. Now, energy is not two-dimensional. It seems so because there's plus and minus. There is Shiva and Shakti. There is, but to make that a little bit clear, we start with something that is not about yoga, because actually this is not Indian, but this is Chinese. That's the yin-yang model. Everybody knows the yin-yang model. I didn't discuss this last week at the workshop, right? I usually do. So we're going to do it now. For many people, yin-yang model is a nice decoration. Some people have a tattoo. Some people an earring or a hanger on their necklace. Or a nice decoration in the living room or the bedroom with a yin-yang model on it. It looks nice. But ancient people, although they like nice things too, like we do, everything had a meaning. And that is what many people fail to see. The yin-yang model clearly is about harmony between dark and light. So this is about energy. But what is the yin-yang model about? It's about harmony. It reflects harmony. But I just before said, energy is not two-dimensional. It's not just black and white. It's not just plus and minus. What many people fail to see is that is reflected in this model. Because if you look again, you see that the dark side has a light eye. The black side has a white eye. And the white side has a black eye. That is not for decoration. Although it looks nice, it's not decoration. What it means is that the dark side has characteristics of the light side, and the light side has characteristics of the dark side. Now, this sounds maybe like, an interesting theory that has no practical meaning, but this is a model of a human being. If I look in the mirror or you look at me, what do you see? You see a male body. But that male body has feminine characteristics as well as masculine characteristics. In the same way that a woman, female body, of course has feminine characteristics, but also masculine characteristics. So a balanced human being has equally feminine and masculine characteristics. That is what this reflects. Interestingly, this teaches us also something about relationships, because this model not only applies to the individual, it also applies to how people interact with one another. If I'm a man with very masculine characteristics, what kind of woman do I feel attracted to? And what kind of woman feels attracted to me? That is one who is very girlish, with very strong feminine characteristics. Together you make harmony. If I'm a man with strong feminine characteristics, what kind of woman do I feel attracted to? A woman who has strong masculine characteristics. And if I'm relatively balanced, which I think I am, there is attraction with a person who is also relatively balanced. Is this important? Yes, because we live in a world where we are often focused on what we see. So it's very possible that I see an attractive person, somebody I think, wow, what a beautiful person. And I'm trying to get a relationship with that person because I think they are very beautiful, right? So that's possible. But the thing is, what happens is, and you see that in many relationships, in the beginning maybe the relationship is good, but then it quickly becomes confrontational. And the reason for that is, I felt attracted because of physical appearance, but I ignored, or just because I'm ignorant, of course, just because I don't know, I ignored the energy balance in that person. So if I'm very masculine, I see a beautiful lady and start a relationship with that lady, and that lady is also very strongly masculine, that relationship is likely to fail sooner or later. Just because you don't make balance together, you don't make harmony together. So you can directly apply this into daily life and recognize how you are functioning in relation to other people based on this philosophy. So this is not yoga, but everybody knows the yin-yang model. Yoga uses another symbol. And that's actually one that we will come across when we discuss the chakras, because it's a symbol of the heart chakra. I explained there is Shiva energy and there is Shakti energy. Shiva energy descends from the top down, cannot go up. Shakti energy rises from the bottom and goes up. It cannot go down, it cannot reverse. Later we will talk more in detail. Next week already I will introduce more details about the energy flows of Shiva and Shakti. But for now, just important is that energy, Shiva energy, which is the feminine part, flows from the top down, and Shakti energy, which is Kundalini, which is the masculine part, rises from the bottom to the top. Now look at this. The yoga yin and yang model, or the yoga model for harmony, looks like this. This triangle pointing down represents Shiva energy, flowing from the top down to the bottom. Shakti energy is represented by a triangle pointing up. You recognize this? It's the Star of David. The Israeli flag has this symbol. The heart chakra has this as a symbol. Why? Because one of the highest goals in yoga is for the heart to open up. The heart opens up when Shiva and Shakti are in balance at the level of the heart chakra. That is why this is a symbol of the heart. If you are a little bit familiar with yoga, the traditional way of yoga, you read books from, Swami this and that, you notice that professional yogis, real yogis, especially Indian yogis, their name changes over time, depending on their level of development. So their name indicates the level they have developed to. The most advanced yogis have Ananda in their name. Ananda, Swami Yoga Anand Saraswati. Ananda is bliss or love from the heart. So it's an indication that they have found such a high level of harmony that their heart is opening. Like the burning heart of Jesus Christ that you see in the paintings or the illustrations of Jesus Christ. The burning heart. That's a level of development, and it's something that happens to every yoga practitioner if you practice yoga in such a way that it leads to harmony, which our yoga typically does, naturally. So, Shiva and Shakti now, Shiva, I told you Shiva is feminine energy. Shakti is masculine energy. And yet, often when you open a book and they explain about energy, the author will say that Shiva is masculine energy and Shakti is feminine energy. That's the opposite of what I just said. How is this possible? Here you find the secret behind the yin-yang model. A secret that most yoga teachers have not been initiated in. So, the reason why they think Shiva is masculine energy is because Shiva is a male god. Shakti is the goddess of dance. So that is weird. The male god represents feminine energy. The female goddess represents masculine energy. That is exactly the point. Together they make harmony. Later we will come back to this, because the Hatha Yoga Pradipika in chapter 3 and chapter 4 confirms what I say here. So it's not that all those people who say the opposite might be right and that I am wrong. I'm properly initiated into yoga for many years. And I've read the whole Hatha Yoga Pradipika, not superficially, but I contemplated every verse, the whole book. Later I will show you chapter 3 and 4, which verses confirm that Shakti is Kundalini, which is the energy rising from the bottom up. So there's no confusion about this, unless you have never read the book, which most yoga teachers haven't, unfortunately. Now, when Shiva energy dominates, you feel lazy and lethargic. Just like, Many people are in this condition. When Shakti energy dominates, you feel euphoric. You feel active. You feel enthusiastic. Some people become addicted to this feeling and become workaholic. People become workaholic, why? Because they really enjoy the high feeling that they get when Shakti is dominating, which happens when they are busy, when they are concentrating on their work, whether that is mental work, when you work in an office, or whether it's physical work, or both combined. The problem is, and that is where the addiction comes in, when they stop focusing on their work, they collapse, because their body needs to recover by taking in a lot of Shiva energy. And because they don't like the lethargy, the gloominess of this condition, which is inevitable, we all have to switch so that we can continue living life. After activity, we need to recover. But because they don't like it, they quickly want to go back to work so that they can generate that feeling again. Because they don't understand how that works, they're actually damaging their selves, their body, and also their mind. And eventually it leads to burnout. Of course, yoga has a much more sensible approach to this. And this is why we do what we do. The whole system of yoga is about managing our energies. The reason why most people have Shiva energy dominating and therefore are suffering from depression, from gloominess, from feeling down, but also negative thought processes are the result of this. The reason why that is happening is because it is a universal law that energy has a tendency to condense. That is how the universe is built. When you talk about the universe, they talk about the Big Bang. So they say there was nothing first. Then came the Big Bang, and slowly but certainly the universe manifested. Out of what? Out of sheer energy. As long as energy is completely harmonious, it doesn't manifest. When that harmony is disrupted, so it starts to fluctuate between tamas and rajas, energy starts to manifest. It starts to condense, and energy then turns into gas. The condensation process continues, gas then becomes liquid. The condensation process continues, and liquid becomes solid matter. If you understand this, you realize that your physical body is the product of this process. So we live in a world where everybody looks in the mirror and says, that is me. But that is only the end product. That me started with energy. The soul is pure energy. I'm going a little bit too far now. But you know the condition of heaven or paradise? That is that energy. The fall from paradise of Adam and Eve fell from paradise, right? That's not because they did naughty things behind a tree. Adam and Eve are yin and yang or Shiva and Shakti. It's energy. That's a symbolical story in the Bible about energy, not about people. We are all fallen from paradise. Because paradise is here. And the moment that we develop desire, energy started to be disharmonious, and what started as soul consciousness condenses. All the fluids and gases in our body are the product of that process, and the final product of this process of condensation is the physical body. So we are not just a physical body. And that's also very important in yoga, because that's what you do when you meditate. You connect with that higher energy that is up there, which has so many wonderful benefits for the human being. So we will come back to all of that later, but that condition where both yoga is designed to make, because all of us condense towards the bottom, yoga is designed to make that energy go up again. We take control of that force in the universe to reverse that process, because the tragedy of mankind is this fall from paradise, basically, and our lives being ruled by emotions and desires, leading to suffering and misery. And the whole Oriental philosophy is based on this. And not only Oriental, also Occidental philosophy is based on this. Because of this, we are all suffering. Except many interpret that in a negative way. They say, well, you know, this is the reality, you just have to accept, so I just have to suffer in life. Yoga says, no. Yoga says, there's something you can do about it. You don't have to passively suffer through life. Yes, if you don't take control, you will suffer. But here you have a system. You follow the system, you can reverse that process, and magic occurs. Wonderful things start to happen as a result of that. So this is why in yoga you use your body, but really it's all about energy. If the energy is good, your physical body is good and healthy. If your energy is good, all your wounds, all your traumas will heal. If the energy is not good, you become unhealthy, physically and mentally. So it's all about energy. When you're sick, the easiest way is to go to a hospital and ask for a pill. And the doctor will happily oblige and give you a pill. But that doesn't solve the problem. That is what Hanyak is about. Korean traditional medicine is not about giving you a chemical pill to heal your disease. It's about correcting your energy condition. So it's the same as yoga. Correct the energy condition and the disease will heal, will disappear. So remember, when I introduced yoga last week, I told you that yoga is about control. Many people don't like that, but without control, nothing can be achieved. And to get there, I explained what the word yoga really means. It just implies control. There's nothing mysterious about it. What we want in the end is, of course, the condition that occurs when Shiva and Shakti are relatively harmonious. And sattva is rare because sattva is like walking on a tight rope. Sattva sometimes occurs accidentally, spontaneously. When you walk in the park, the sun is shining, the wind is blowing in your hair, and you just feel good, and you're not, just for a moment, you are not thinking about your work or your problems or the complicated family relations that you have, or just for a moment, you're just in a zone and you feel wonderful. That is sattva. It happens by accident almost. Yoga is designed to not let it happen accidentally anymore, but to install a condition in which throughout daily life you more and more stay in harmony, in sattva. And it just changes completely how you function. Many of the things that I explained we will come back to sooner or later when discussing other elements, aspects of yoga. A tamas condition, you all know about Monday morning blues. Monday morning blues, Monday morning disease. Where does that come from? That is because our work schedule in the modern world is not natural. So we work 5 days. And we are exhausted on Friday night. But we are happy because it's Friday. So instead of going home to take a rest, we have a nice meal, maybe a couple of drinks, and then we go home. Saturday, still we cannot rest because we have to clean the house. We have to go to the supermarket to stock up for the rest of the week. Because in the weekdays you're so busy with work, you have no time for shopping. So Saturday, still you're busy. Saturday night you have a nice meal. Either you cook something delicious or maybe you go out with friends or family. Then comes Sunday. Sunday most people are done. So you stay at home all day, you lie down and relax and watch Netflix but your body is sucking up large amounts of Shiva energy to recover from 6 days of busyness. Monday morning disease occurs because it's not enough. You haven't had enough Shiva energy yet. So Sunday in the daytime and at night until Monday morning, your body is frantically taking in Shiva energy to recover from 6 days of being busy. And your body is not recovered yet. And that is why on Monday morning it's difficult to start. But because you have to, your alarm clock is ringing and says, hey, wake up, you have to go to work. So grudgingly you get out of bed, you start moving, you go to the bathroom, you prepare your breakfast, you start moving. Because you start moving, Shakti energy is generated, and little by little the fog of the Monday morning disease disappears. Because you move. Your body wants more, but you don't allow it because you start moving and Shakti energy is generated. So usually Monday evening, Tuesday morning, you feel okay again. But it is a cycle that in the long term leads to burnout also. We think it's normal because that is how we are raised, and the government wants us to function like this, and the corporate world wants us to function like this. But working 5 days a week for a yogi is actually too much. And you can feel that. Of course, you need to do that for a while until you can take control of your life and you can make things in such a way that you can create the ideal situation. Usually that takes 20, 30 years, but that's just the world that we live in. All right. What is important, you see this in the last paragraph of the handout, to conclude with, is that as a conclusion of what we see here, the idea that everything is energy, that it is fluctuating between plus and minus, but that there is also a middle way. If you, by experience and knowledge, understand your condition more and more, this implies that we can change our condition at will. And that is what yoga is about. We start with asana, because asana creates Shakti in a measured way, in a controlled way, to reverse the condensation of energy to the bottom. But asana is only the beginning. Then comes energy control and meditation, leading to more refined and powerful ways to control energy. Good, I would like to leave it at that. A lot of this will come back further down the road. You want to have a short break? Yeah, just 5 minutes? Then we will, after that, talk about ahimsa.